Operant Responding of a Fish Among Concurrent Schedules of Reinforcement by Rachel Mayer. The current study examines the effects of schedules of reinforcement on operant responses of a Siamese fighting fish. During baseline trials, no desired responses were emitted by the beta. Upon completion of the training sessions, the beta was performing the desired response. However, it was not performing the behaviors on two concurrent schedules of reinforcement. It was performing both behaviors with contingent reinforcement at the end of the experiment. While the fish did learn the desired operant responses, it did not master them to the point of being reinforced on two concurrent schedules. It only performed them with contingent FR1 reinforcement. There have been many studies that have used reinforcement to teach animals new tasks. The current study builds upon existing experiments that have used fish as a subject. Previous studies have shown that fish have the ability to master new tasks after training sessions. Turnbaugh et al. Trained beta fish to emit a reinforced response. In this study, they trained the beta fish to emit operant responses that were reinforced by the opportunity to view a picture of another fish. The results from Salwazek et al. Showed that the adult cleaner rouse outperformed 3 primate species when it came to choosing superior action that initially had neutral consequences. These results indicate that the adult cleaner can differentiate between two choices and can choose the superior action that leads to optimal feeding decisions. Carson et al. Used mazes to study spatial learning capabilities in cuttlefish. The results of this study showed the cuttlefish demonstrated improved performance across different trials. Similarly to the current study, El Coro et al. Used mirrors as reinforcement for fish swimming through rings in a tank. When the fish swam through the ring, the lights in the tank went out, making the mirror reflective. The previously mentioned experiments have shown that fish can master new tasks and respond to reinforcement. So the current study is analyzing two concurrent schedules of reinforcement conducted with a fish. 1 experimentally naive male half-moon beta was obtained from the local pet store. It was housed in isolation in the aquarium described on the next slide. The fish was kept in an aquarium that was 34.5 centimeters long by 15.4 centimeters wide by 24.3 centimeters high and contained approximately 7.5 liters of water. The device contained one filter located in the back middle of the tank that ran continuously 24 hours a day. It also had a removable divider that was never placed in the tank due to there being no other fish in the aquarium. The device had 4 LED lights on the hood that were kept on a 12-hour light-dark schedule. The hood also contained a door that opened and closed for feeding. There was a thermometer in the front that helped me maintain the temperature of the tank. The only decoration or accessories that were in the tank was the gravel found on the floor of the tank. All materials used in this experiment were purchased from PetSmart or from the R2 Fish School. Every time the fish was fed, the beta food was delivered directly from the R2 fish feeding wand into the aquarium. The treats were dispensed the same way. The expansion hoop and 11.43 centimeter post was connected to the adapter during the training sessions. The basketball hoop with the suction cup was attached to the wall during the training sessions. The one 6-sided die was used during the random reinforcement schedule. The experiment began with the introduction of the feeding wand. From the first time the beta was fed, it was fed directly from the feeding wand. A small amount of food was placed in the cavity section of the wand. The first and second time the fish was fed, the food was dispensed immediately into the tank. The third time the fish was fed, the experimenter waited until the fish approached the wand to dispense the food. In all subsequent feeding sessions, the fish had to approach the wand in order for the food to be dispensed. Both baseline trials were conducted by placing the hoop or basketball hoop in the tank and allowing the fish to swim freely throughout the tank. No reinforcement was given during the baseline trials. All sessions lasted 1 minute. All 6 training sessions were conducted by placing the hoop or basketball hoop in the tank and using the wand to guide the fish through the hoop. The wand was placed through the hoop in order to lure the fish to the entrance. Each time the fish approached the wand, it was pulled through the hoop so the fish would follow. The food was released from the wand when the fish swam through the hoop. During the training sessions, contingent reinforcement was provided every time the fish went through the hoop. Once the operant responses were established, reinforcement for the up-down swim was provided on a fixed FR2 schedule, and random reinforcement was provided for the direct swim through. To determine the random reinforcement schedule, a single die was rolled every time the fish swam through the hoop. If the die showed an even number, the fish was reinforced. If it showed an odd number, the fish was not reinforced. During the 2 baseline trials conducted, the fish emitted 0 desired responses. It did not swim through the hoop or basketball hoop during baseline. Baseline trials consisted of observing the fish for 1 minute to record any behaviors. 6 one-minute training trials were conducted. 3 were conducted using the hoop and 3 were conducted using the basketball hoop. During training trials 1 and 2, the fish emitted 1 response where it swam straight through the hoop or basketball hoop. During trials 3 through 6, the fish produced 2 responses where it swam through the hoop 2 times. During the 2 post-training trials conducted, the fish emitted 1 response each time. It never got to the point where it was on 2 concurrent schedules of reinforcement consistently. Although the concurrent schedules were put in place, they were never fully implemented due to the lack of mastery of skills by the fish. The results of the present experiment support the findings of previously mentioned studies. Fish can be taught to learn new skills. One limitation of the current study is time. There were not enough trials conducted for the fish to master the skills to a point where it was not receiving reinforcement on an FR1 schedule. If more training trials were run, the fish would have been moved to an FR2 schedule and eventually a random reinforcement schedule. Another issue related to time was the trial length. The trials were run for 1 minute. This may not have been enough time for the fish to come back and receive reinforcement again. Future experiments should consider making the trials last longer. Another limitation was the amount of food given. The fish was fed during every session. Sessions happened twice a day, meaning the fish was fed twice a day. That may not have left the food fish deprived, which means its motivation to participate in the training may have been low. Future studies can build upon the findings from this current study, along with previous studies demonstrating the ability of fish to learn new tasks. This video shows a snippet from the baseline training sessions. In this video, you will see the hoop placed in the tank with no feeding wand or reinforcement available. The fish swims about as it normally does, completely ignoring the hoop.
I haven't fed him yet today. I only feed him with the wand though, yeah.
These videos show the wand training portion of the experiment. In these videos, the fish is shown following the wand in order to get the food. Please don't mind the torn out paper towel, which is evidence that the cat tried to kill the fish in the middle of the night. These videos show the hoop training sessions. In these videos, you will see the fish following the wand through the hoop. Again, please ignore my mother in the background talking about Snapchat.
Are your people going?
No one said anything.
Did you Snapchat them?
But it's like, I don't have school tomorrow.
Similarly to the videos on the last slide, these videos are showing the fish swimming through the basketball hoop.